welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Jam1 Garner, who's been working on this Esper control version of Doomsday. Doomsday is, of course, the combo deck where the card Doomsday exiles all your cards except for 5 of your choice, and you can stack them however you want, which means you get full control of every card you have access to for the rest of the game, but you only have 5 cards to win the game with. That's not hard when one of them is Thassa's Oracle, that wins the game when your deck's empty, or Jace Wielder, that ends the game when your deck's empty. This deck has a ton of great interaction. We've got 4 Force of Wills, 1 Daze, 4 Thoughtseize effects between 2 Thougtseize and 2 Duress. And that sets up the fast Doomsdays off of Dark Ritual. The speed piles are still represented in this list, even though it's a little slower than Turbo Doomsday. Street Wraith cycles for 2 life. That gets you through the pile quickly. Edge of Autumn cycles by sacking a land. That can get you through your pile quickly. Cavern of Souls makes Thassa's Oracle uncounterable once the pile's going. All that stuff's still here. We have Lion's Eye Diamond with Deep Analysis and Consider that can make piles go through very quickly. But this deck also has 3 copies of Teferi Time Raveler, 2 copies of Swords of Plowshares, 1 copy of Prismatic Ending. Jace Wielder I have seen in typical Doomsday lists, but this is also a card that you can just cast if the game is going along and start grinding. Calling this control might be a bit of a stretch, but relative to typical Doomsday decks, this deck does have a lot of other things it can do in a game other than just send Doomsday. And Teferi is a lot of fun because not only can your opponent no longer respond to your Doomsday or anything that would happen afterwards, but Doomsday is a sorcery. If you get to a spot where you set up Teferi, plus Teferi, end step Doomsday, untap with all your resources, and draw one of your 5 cards immediately, it's so easy to win. And that's exciting for me, because I'm not a Doomsday main. I have played this deck a number of times in life. I understand the basic piles and stuff, but being able to do it without worrying about anything is pretty awesome. Teferi and Jace Wielder also solve the Consigned to Memory problem. That is a card that basically all decks that can cast it are running in high numbers right now. That card lines up very good against Thassa's Oracle. It doesn't care about Cavern of Souls. But if they can't cast spells, or if your win con is not a trigger, then you don't have to worry about that. Some fun innovation here. Let's do it. This is Esper Doomsday. I'm on the play in round 1 with a bummer. I can't actually keep this hand. The Dark Ritual Duress Swamp got me excited, but this hand doesn't have Doomsday and doesn't do anything. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, I can Duress, then start casting Ponders. This isn't really where I want to be, but I don't hate it either. I'm going to bottom Edge of Autumn. Let's see what they're working with. Duressing them tells them that I am a combo deck. Oh, look at this. It is the mirror match. Nobody else is playing Deep Analysis. I think I want to take their Brainstorm the most. That could change all the information I just earned off my Duress. They're probably going to Ponder here unless they drew a Thoughtseize. Okay, Ponder. Me playing Scrubland is a little suspicious. That's not a card that's typically in Doomsday. They probably don't think it's a mirror, but they have probably correctly identified that I am a combo deck because of the Duresses. Yeah, they shuffled their Ponder. I'm going to Duress again now. They're thinking about Force of Willing it. There's a long pause on this Duress. Okay, ended up resolving Daze, Deep Analysis, Force. Well, I'm obviously not taking Deep Analysis. I do have an Undercity Sewers in my deck I can fetch for this turn. I can Force of Will around Daze if I need to. Alright, well, I'm about to lose my Ponder. And then we're in crazy garbage mode, but Deep Analysis is eventually a card they can cast. Oh, they took my Force. Fascinating. Okay, so I wonder if that means if they drew Doomsday, or if they're just planning for the inevitable showdown. Undercity Sewer. Hey, there's Doomsday. I'll put that on top of my deck. I can't cast it because they have Daze, but it is there. I can ponder and then figure out what the rest of my plan looks like. Brainstorm, Brainstorm, Land. I'll take the Brainstorm now and leave the land on top. if I get Thought Seized, I want to be able to hide my Doomsday. Deep Analysis does target player draws 2 cards. I have to think about that at least a little bit before I do a half measure Doomsday pile. Okay, I'm going to play Flooded Strand. I'm going to fetch for Underground Sea, and I'm going to cast Doomsday and hope that they didn't draw Force of Will. Casting Daze, I will fetch in response. Underground Sea, I'll pay the difference. And Doomsday back on the stack. It did resolve. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, if I make this pile, I can play Teferi with a mana still open. Once Teferi's down, they can't do anything. Then I can Brainstorm and make my hand Lion's Eye Diamond with 3 cards left in my deck. If I minus Teferi, draw Deep Analysis. That's 2 cards left in my deck. Crack LED for blue. Deep Analysis, draw the 2 cards, use 1 floating blue and Cavern of Souls to win. And this line is not completely blown if they duress my Brainstorm or target me with Deep Analysis. Okay. Cavern, Oracle, Analysis, LED, Teferi. All right. They have a turn to send it over the top here, or find something else to do. Hey, Undercity Sewers, Band of Misty Rainforest. They are drawing wild here. Okay, did not play any cards with their 4 mana. Teferi, Time Raveler. Let's see if I could go into easy mode or if I have to do a little work. Sick. All right. Hope I did this right. Brainstorm. Put back Thassa's Oracle and Deep Analysis. Minus Teferi on nothing. Draw Deep Analysis. Lion's Eye Diamond. Blue in the pool. Deep Analysis. Cavern on Wizard or Merfolk. It's the same. And Thassa's Oracle. Cool. Teferi making my piles pretty easy. Okay, the Doomsday Mirror. Force of Negation coming in. Orange Chant coming in. Probably Duress and Cabal Therapy. I don't think I want to go on the creature plan. I could just be a Doomsday deck. I don't need Swords to Plowshares or Prismatic Ending for the Mirror. Speed might be important, so the Lion's Eye Diamond, the Deep Analysis, the Wraiths, those are cards I frequently trim on when I play Doomsday. They're not going to attack my mana. Maybe I could cut Basic Swamp. Or, yeah, Cavern of Souls matters. They're a Force of Will deck. So the strategic advantage I have in a Doomsday Mirror is that I'm a bigger deck with other stuff to do. And maybe if I cut lands, I give up on some of that access. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut a Petal rather than a land, go for stability over speed. I still want my speed pile options that consider the Deep Analysis, the LED. And I can probably live with 1 fewer Street Wraiths. Okay, let's go. I like Force and Thoughtseize, considers a little bit of card selection. Jace is a plan by itself if this game gets weird. Opponent's on 6. I'm not going to force a Ponder. You can have that one. Did not shuffle a Teferi. I like those. I'm just going to go for Thoughtseize. If they daze it, it's fine. That sets them back a land, and I still have Force if I need to interact. Okay, Force of Will, Force of Negation, Ponder, Thoughtseize. I'm going to take their Thoughtseize here. I would prefer to keep my secrets. There's the Ponder and the land. Shuffle the library. So they have Force of Negation, Force of Will, 2 unknowns over there. My own Force of Will. Winning a fight over Teferi is basically all I really want to do here, and then the game becomes easy. I'm just going to pass. Brainstorm does change a lot of information, but again, there are specific cards that matter a lot here, and I don't want to shoot off my interaction on one that's not the important one. Ooh, Tropical Island. All right, Personal Tutor. This will grab a Doomsday. They have Doomsday on top of their deck. I am not going to shuffle or cast Consider here. I drew a blue card. That's good. Fetch. I'm going to go for Teferi. They basically have to counter it. I also have to get Scrubland here if I ever want to cast Doomsday. So they'll Force of Will here. Or they'll Force the Negation pitching Force of Will. This also tells me they don't have Daze. That means I can Force of Will pitching this Consider. And Teferi's in. I think I would just like to have a card in my hand. Okay, Force blue card, Force blue card. We know they're drawing Doomsday. That if they're going to cast it, then one of the cards in their hand has to be Dark Ritual. Okay, clever. We will both be Hellbent at the end of this chain. They're going to Dark Ritual Doomsday. All right, we're both hellbent. I have 3 lands and a Teferi to their 2 lands. But this game is about to turn into a top deck war. Plus Teferi, I do have a Surveil land in my deck. Oh, I should have surveilled main phase in case I hit the deep analysis. Interesting. Yeah, there's these just tight little value pieces. Undercity Sewer, the Teferi. I'm going to put that in the graveyard. Playing Teferi and drawing a card immediately is the same as just milling Teferi away, except Teferi ends up at 1 instead of 3. I don't need that to happen. Doomsday? Okay. This is the same thing I just said I didn't really need to happen. I'm going to leave this Teferi in my hand. That lets me minus this one to draw a card next turn and then play the bonus one. And then draw another card. Okay, so if their hand is Force Blue card right now, then they end up hellbent to fight over my Teferi. Ooh, Cabal Therapy. Fun. I'm going to play Teferi. I can Cabal Therapy at instant speed. If they cast Dark Ritual, I'll Cabal Therapy naming Doomsday in response. That's the line. But I'll just chill on Cabal Therapy if they don't do anything. Thoughtseize. Boo. Okay, I guess this resolves. They probably take the Force. Unless they're ready to win right now, which they're not. Okay. Dark Ritual. I kind of like being able to plus the Teferi and hold up this Cabal Therapy while they don't have triple black. They found a land. That Tropical Island's still messing with them. I'll plus Teferi again. Play land number 5. I'm out of Surveils. Brainstorm would be great. I'll probably draw a card next turn with Teferi. Start trying to make something happen. They did not mill their card. And I'm going to Cabal Therapy them in their draw step and name Doomsday. Sniper mode. We hit a Doomsday. They have Dazed Dark Ritual in their hand. Yeah, the no Surveil, like what card would they want here? It's either Doomsday or the mana to cast Doomsday. Either way, they have Doomsday in their draw step. That's 2 down, 2 to go. Knowing that their hand can't win. Oh, okay. Never mind. Oh, I just win. All right. They said in chat, I would have kept any card on top, just happened to be DD. Sure. I believe you, or something. Dark Ritual, Doomsday. Teferi gets a draw to jump off the chain. Fetch land can clear a card from the deck. So we've got Underground Sea in the pile. Thassa's Oracle has to be there. I think I can just cast Brainstorm and win with 2 cards in my deck here. I don't have to go all the way in. I can just grab the edges too. All right, it doesn't really matter. Okay, done. My pile will be Underground Sea, Thassa's Oracle, Edge, Brainstorm, draw a card with Teferi, Fetch with Polluted Delta, Brainstorm puts all the cards in my hand, put back. I might as well go all the way to the edge. We're here. All right, cool. Figured it out. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep my hand. I have Dark Ritual and Force of Will, and a bunch of ways to look for Doomsday. Just going to start with the sewer. It's here. Let's party. Polluted Delta. Do I want that? I want it if they're a Wasteland deck. I don't want it if they're not. I'll keep it to be safe. Otawara. Probably not a Wasteland deck. Probably some... What deck plays Ponder and Otawara? Are they just a control deck that has an Otawara? Because Thoughtcast decks are the primary Otawara decks. Maybe some kind of Nadu something or other. I'm just going to play Flooded Strand. I can Brainstorm now. Yeah, I'm a powerful proactive deck. I can do stuff. All right, I'll push back Marsh Flats and Polluted Delta, and I'm just going to go Underground Sea Ponder right now. Dark Ritual, Duress. I'd like to Duress them, but I need to shuffle, and I did find the Doomsday. I'm ready to party next turn. If I draw anything that draws a card, I can actually attempt to win next turn. Got a Misty Rainforest and a pass. Cavern of Souls, interesting. Not really what I want here. Well, Doomsday's in my hand, so I'm going to cast it. Doomsday. Really missing that duress I shuffled away, but I wouldn't have Doomsday if I had kept duress. That's just how that card works. Wow, that just resolved. No arguments. Okay. Okay, if this is my pile, I draw for turn, there's 4 cards left. I fetch, there's 3 cards left. Or I draw for turn, it's Brainstorm, there's 4 cards left. I Brainstorm, there's 3 cards left. I fetch, there's 2 cards left. I Thoughtseize my opponent and then cast an uncounterable Thassa's Oracle. Okay, I think this works. Okay, passing the turn. I don't like there's 7 cards in hand over there. I do like that my Force of Will is still here. End step Brainstorm is fine. A upkeep fetch. Blue and white mana revealed. Okay, I'm going to my turn. Okay, I'll start with this Brainstorm. Get the Thoughtseize available. I actually have 2 answers to something like Hull Breacher in my hand, because I did leave white mana in my deck to plow with. Doorkeeper Thrall. Interesting. Because I do have Swords to Plowshares for this. I could just wait. Alright, Doorkeeper Thrall resolves. If I put back... So I could Thoughtseize and see what's going on, I guess. I'm going to have to Swords to Plowshares. Okay, I guess I put back Edge and Oracle here. I think I need to keep Oracle, though. But that means I have to keep everything. I can't keep everything. That's not how this works. Maybe I don't get Cavern this turn. If Cavern and Edge go back, and then I fetch the Tundra, then I draw either Cavern or Edge next turn. Do I want to Thoughtseize now, or do I want to wait? All right, I'm going to put back Cavern and Edge, and I'll go for the Thoughtseize now. Swords of Plowshare is actually pretty rough. Dress Down probably worse, though. I'm going to take Dress Down, and I could wait for them to cast Null Drifter next turn, but I think I just want to plow this thing while I know it's going to work. Okay, I'm currently winning unless they draw like a Stifle. I don't... There's the Plains. They might have to Null Drifter just to see some more cards. That is what's happening. They draw 2, so they have 3 unknowns in the hand. They still have to beat Force of Will and Cavern of Souls, because I will have Cavern of Souls either way. If Edge of Autumn is on top of my deck, then I just win and whatever. If Cavern's on top of my deck, I might have to think about Swords to Plowshares a little bit. Okay, I don't have to think about Swords to Plowshares. Blue to blue, cycle Edge of Autumn, Cavern on Wizard this time. I did Merfolk last time. I'll mix it up. Empty deck Thassa's Oracle. They would need Stifle plus Force of Will. Cool. This is a scary matchup, though, because everything that puts Dreadnought into play also stops Thassa's Oracle. Jace Wielder is here, part of that. Teferi helps a lot. Wormschant helps a lot. Do I want a Barrogoyf pivot here? I think they're better at beating me down than... Like, the question is, am I better at bullying through their Stifles, or are they better at beating down Barrogoyf? And I think I'm better at bullying through Stifle than I am at winning with combat damage. Unless I want to go the full other direction of bring in the Plows, the Terminus, and really pivot here. I don't think I want to do that. What does that deck even look like, though? Let's talk about it. Edge of Autumn, Street Wraiths. Do I even leave Doomsday in on this pivot? Do you go both ways? Duress is a card I want. I probably don't run the LED Deep Analysis package if I'm on this pivot. Being able to still Doomsday matters, but I just cut all of my ways to get through a pile quickly. I still have Consider that can get through a pile kind of quickly. What if I drop my Lotus Petals and I get a Street Wraith and Edge of Autumn back in here? Now I have defensible Doomsday piles. Terminus might be too much. Okay, trying the control build, but I haven't gone off Doomsday entirely. Ball Therapy, do I want this? If I do, where am I putting it? Yeah, I don't know where I'm putting that. I'm going to hit submit. I'm just trying this here. I actually think it's probably better to just stay full combo and Eyes on the Prize, let Teferi do the work, but let's see what the deck's capable of. Let's flex it a little. Okay, mildly concerning. I do have Force Blue card. I can Brainstorm. I don't have black mana. I am going to keep this. If they're a Wasteland build, I can cycle my Edge of Autumn on the Tundra in response, which is not the same as not getting Wastelanded, but at least I recoup a card off it. I'd love to just draw basic Swamp. Okay. Pass with Brainstorm and Edge of Autumn available. I wonder how possible it is to manipulate Barrowgoyf's power and toughness so that it gets through a Doomsday pile immediately. Like, pass the turn with Barrowgoyf and play, untap, play Doomsday, attack for 5 or 6, mill, pick up Thassa's Oracle, play it. That's a line that could exist if the game goes long enough. Wasteland confirmed. Yeah, I'm going to float a blue, and then I'm going to cycle Edge of Autumn. I want to draw the card before I Brainstorm. All right, here we go. Got through the cards in what I believe is the correct order. How far away am I from Barrowgoyf? Pretty far. So Barrowgoyf, Flooded Strand on top. Redraw Flooded Strand. Going for basic Swamp here. Stifle's bad, but I hope they don't play it. There's so many ways to get a Dreadnought into play that actual Stifle is not necessarily even in lists anymore. Swamp, Duress. What you working with? Murktide Regent, Doorkeeper Thrall, Dress Down, and 3 lands. Okay. My Swords to Plowshares hand is actually really good here. Dark Ritual mostly just wins. Flooded Strand. I am going to force this thing. It turns on their whole deck, and I want to save my Swords to Plowshares for their Murktide. If I had Dark Ritual, I would let that resolve, but I don't. Okay, I think I'm going to use this Flooded Strand to get the Undercity Sewer. That gets me closer to triple black. I drew the white source, so I don't need Flooded Strand to be Swords to Plowshares anymore. Flooded Strand, that is not one of the lands that I've seen. That is actually really important in Legacy to keep track of that stuff, because that was just a card's worth of free info. And they did not play Murktide Regent when they could, so I suspect they have some interaction available here. Jace Wielder. I don't want this card. I'd love to cast this card, but I'm pretty far away from doing that. Is that even true, though? If I cast Brainstorm this turn, and it finds a land, I'm ready to wield Jace. Alright, I will actually keep Jace Wielder. Just because I've seen their hand and I know it applies no pressure, and as long as I don't just blast myself in the foot with an aggressive Doomsday. I think I'm actually going to play out the Tundra here before I Brainstorm, which is the opposite of how I'd like to do that. But if they have something like Hull Breacher, it's just too bad. Ooh, okay. So Dark Ritual Doomsday are here, present, in the mix. I could Dark Ritual Barrowgoyf right now, and then play Teferi next turn. Yeah, Jace Wielder didn't come together. I think I'm going to put Dark Ritual, or Doomsday on top of the deck. Dark Ritual Barrowgoyf. The turn after that, play Teferi. Okay. Yeah, this sounds good. Dark Rit. Let's see what this piece of interaction they left up is, instead of casting Murktide Regent. And I'm now almost live for the cast Doomsday attack with Barrowgoyf, flip 5 cards, pick up Thassa's Oracle trick. And Meticulous Archive. There's Mystery Enforced. I did know about that one. Petty Theft. Alright, tough crowd. Okay, it's Teferi time. They need an actual counterspell for this. There's one unknown card in their hand. Teferi's in. I'm going to plus him because I want the draw in the bank. And I want the bounce in the bank. They have 2 threats face up. The Tundra, while it does give me Swords to Plowshares, which won game 1, in a spot where I would have otherwise been in trouble to a Doorkeeper Thrall, it's currently stopping me from winning the game immediately with this Doomsday. They could deploy Murktide plus Brazen Borrower this turn and just pass with a bunch of power in play. There's Murktide. My top card is Jace Wielder right now. And Brazen Borrower. Okay. I'm going to start by bouncing Murktide Regent, and we'll see where we are. Another Doomsday. Okay. How worried about Teferi am I? If I play this Barrowgoyf, they can replay a 3-3 Murktide next turn, but I have a 3-4 Barrowgoyf. I think I would rather have Teferi in play for as long as possible. If I had not played the Barrowgoyf and just had Dark Ritual Doomsday with Teferi in play, I think this game is already over. 3-3 Murktide's in. Prismatic Ending. That doesn't work on this card. I guess I'm casting Barrowgoyf again and plussing Teferi. Okay, I may have messed up by trying to overextend them, but them drawing a removal spell for the Barrowgoyf on the turn I tried to overextend them. They were not overextended, they were correctly ascended. Force of Will, okay. Barrowgoyf, get in. This is a 4-5. Do I even choose to mill? There are other Barrowgoyfs in my deck. Thassa's Oracle in my deck. Yeah, I'll mill. I missed. I'm going to miss most of the time. I'm not surprised or offended by that. I am winning the damage race, though. Oh, I just remembered that Doomsday takes my graveyard away, so it'd actually be really hard to do the Doomsday into Baragoyf win trick. Hey, Ponder. I like this card. Thoughtseize and a bunch of lands. I'll take them. Don't shuffle. Do cast Thoughtseize. Force Consign. I'm going to take the Consign because I can force back on a force. I am not going to mill with Baragoyf. Keep the cards, thank you. Interesting thing about Street Wraith, I think there's one still in my deck, or did I board them both out? In Baragoyf, hitting Street Wraith is just draw a card. That's cool. They did board out the Deep Analysis, so that's not available to value mill with Baragoyf, nor to be part of a quick Doomsday pile. Lavinia. Well, no, I have Prismatic Ending. However, yeah, I'll just Prismatic End that, whatever. If they force Prismatic Ending, then Doomsday resolves. It's not a big deal. Ooh, okay. They left that back. Are they planning to double block me? Well, I'm going to Prismatic End the Lavinia and see if this is worth their Force of Will, I guess. If they have a fetchable land left in the deck, they could hardcast a Force. I don't know if they're going to have one. They do have a lot of lands in play already. They did fetch. They do have a land. That flushes one of the forces out. I can't force back because of Lavinia. And I will attack and see if they want to make this double block that they telegraphed. It would be weird if they didn't. Like if they just chump with Murktide here. If Baragoyf gets through, I will mill this turn because there's a land on top of my deck I don't really want. Okay, double block, locked in. All the creatures on the board are dead now. Jace Wielder. Remember when I kept this like 7 turns ago in case I got to 4 mana? Well, I'm here. I'm at 4 mana. And I am going to fetch because I don't want to draw that land. I want to draw a blue card to protect my Jace. I'm just going to cast a Doomsday. This will probably be worth the Force of Will to them, and I just won't force back. Sure, deal. My hand is pretty resilient to a single piece of interaction while under no pressure. Right, a blue card or a Duress are great here. An Island. That doesn't really do what I want. They've drawn 2 cards. There's 2 Force of Wills down already. Alright, yeah, I'll cast another Doomsday. Okay, Doomsday has resolved. I would like Cavern of Souls, Thassa's Oracle, Teferi, Thoughtseize, and what, another Teferi? I could brainstorm into Thoughtseize Teferi next turn. If this is my pile, I put Brainstorm on top, Thoughtseize under it. If everything works, I just win. If it doesn't work, I play Jace. Okay. I'm in. Cavern on the bottom, Oracle, Teferi, Thoughtseize, Brainstorm. Alright, ship it. We're in the end game now. Containment Priest. That card does not affect my life at all. It can attack for damage, I guess. But I'm at 11. Curie. That one could be complicated. But my plan is to win next turn and they're down to 1 card in hand. Okay, there are 4 cards in my deck. I'm going to cast Brainstorm. I'm actually going to put back Thoughtseize and Thassa's Oracle at this point, because Teferi is enough to win. Thoughtseize, Thassa's Oracle. Teferi. Their card in hand has to beat Force of Will and Teferi somehow. Spell Pierce. Well, I will force that. Teferi, bounce, Curie, Thassa's Oracle, Devotion is 3. Belamo. Cool. Beat a matchup that is, at least on paper, very difficult. On to the next one. The 9th installment of the NYSE Vintage Open Series is coming. This 15 proxy vintage tournament with Power 9 prizes takes place on Saturday, June 14th, 2025 in Long Island, New York, and has a $500 entry fee. That's a hefty entry, but the guaranteed prizes for top 8 are unlimited Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. The NYSE Open 8 went well for me last year. Someone better come stop me from getting another Lotus. Will it be you? I'll be at the NYSE Open 9 on June 14th, and I hope to see you there. Register on melee.gg or use the link in the video description. I'm on the draw in round 3. I'm going to mulligan this hand that doesn't do anything. I will keep this hand that is ready to party. Do I want Swords of Plowshares or Prismatic Ending? I think I'm going to keep Prismatic Ending just in case they're like Chalice of the Void strategy. Both of these cards answer Delver of Secrets, but only one of them answers hate things, hate pieces, lock pieces. Once Upon a Time. Endurance. Okay, well, that's good to know about. That is a card that Doomsday doesn't really like. Scrubland, Prismatic Ending. So we're playing against Cradle Control. Duress is pretty mediocre against them. It might whiff entirely. Hierarch. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is not going to miss, though. Thoughtseize you. Endurance is the only card there. Okay, Endurance, Bajuka Bog, Gaia's Cradle. I am pondering wildly for a Doomsday. Dark Ritual, 2 lands are not those cards. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. The race is on. Cradle. Please don't cast an engine card. Oh no, there's so much mana in the pool. Did you draw Zenith? Brutal. Okay, so this probably gets White of the Reliquary. Indeed it does. I do win on the spot if I draw Doomsday before I'm dead. Just gotta try to make that happen. Oh, hey, that's the card I said. Okay, Dark Ritual Doomsday with 2 whole mana and Brainstorm up. This is a win the game pile. We know their hand is Wooded Foothills and Bajuka Bog. They can't do anything. Okay, so I Brainstorm into Lion's Eye Diamond Deep Analysis. There will be 4 cards left in my deck. Discard my hand, draw 2 cards. This does it. Okay, done. Oracle, Edge, Edge, Analysis, LED, Tundra, Brainstorm, put back, Duress and Edge, LED, blue, 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 Analysis draws Edge and Duress, cycle Edge, find Oracle, Edge, Edge, Oracle, Kablamo. Sweet, okay. Had to rip the Doomsday at some point there. They were ahead, except that I'm a combo deck, and drawing 1 card, then you win. That's how combo decks work. I don't believe in Barrowgoyf as a card that can actually win a game versus Cradle Control. They have so many creatures, and a lot of them can block. Some of them are even bigger than Barrowgoyf. Cradle Control is a bit of a combo deck itself. Orum's Chant does blank Endurance, where Duress doesn't. Duress could hit an early Zenith or Natural Order in case the race is on, but I'm a counterspell deck. I think I want Orum's Chant, Swords to Plowshares. If Terminus is in this deck, what's it even for if not a matchup like this one? So my Duresses are out, Thoughtseizes are still in. I like having the speed pile available. I think Lotus Petal comes out for a Plow, and something's going to come out for this Terminus. Maybe one of the Wraiths. Wraith for Terminus. Okay. Control Doomsday kicking in. Okay, no removal. I do have Thoughtseize and lots of card selection. I'm in. I do have a Jace in my deck in case they Thoughtseize Bajuka Bog, my Thassa's Oracle. They Once Upon a Time did found Windswept Heath. Use the Heath for Bayou. Are we going to see a Hierarch or a Thoughtseize? Or a Reclaimer? Or a Zenith, which is functionally a Hierarch. Maybe worse. It's actually worse than Hierarch. Hierarch it is. Underground Sea. I'm going to seize my opponent's thoughts. I want to know immediately what their life is. Okay, so Collector Oof slows down my fastest lines. Can they cast Natural Order this turn? No. I don't really want to get Thoughtseized, but I definitely don't want to get Natural Ordered. Okay, I think I have to take my medicine here and let them Thoughtseize me to not get comboed out faster. My thoughts. My guess is they take Brainstorm here. Unless they have their Bajuka Bog, then they might try to get rowdy with Thassa's Oracle, but I could still win with Jace, so I kind of hope they do that. Right, Ponder was the take. Does that telegraph Orcish Bowmaster? Or just another Thoughtseize? Alright, just taking away all my cantrips, that's fair. This would be an exciting turn to draw Doomsday. Thoughtseize. Okay. Do I care about Collector Oof? Mostly no. Are they ever going to have a card in their hand again? Mostly no. Okay. Thoughtseize you. Take your Oof. Hand is Gaia's Cradle. Pass the turn. I have a Surveil land I can grab here. Drew a land that can access Dryad Arbor. I might play a defense mode Thassa's Oracle if nothing better comes together here. Sewer for Plow. I'm the control deck, right? Okay, Tundra and Thassa's Oracle. I still have Jace that can combo out, or if they kill my Oracle, I also have Teferi I can place in a pile. Cool. Teferi, stay on top of the deck. Teferi can bounce Thassa's Oracle. I think I should let them have this Dryad Arbor. Oh, it went for Mortuary. Even better. Yeah, I'm not going to Swords of Plowshares here. I'm going to wait till they show me a White of the Reliquary or some real card. Scythecat, Cub, Bind. This backfires if they play Natural Order, but it's perfect if they draw White of the Reliquary. I'm drawing Teferi. Maybe I just... All right, I am going to plow the white, and then I'm just going to plus Teferi. That's how I'm going to navigate this. Just having a bounce in the bank, like we talked about so many times. Like bounce Thassa's Oracle, draw a card. If I draw a Doomsday, that's just a winning line. Endurance. All right, just slow mode Endurance is fine. That thing is big enough to tangle. All right, putting my graveyard into my deck. There's the Dark Ritual we knew about. I'll bounce Endurance. Looted Delta, mediocre. Endurance is back. Targeting nobody. And Once Upon a Time. Okay. That one's actually pretty scary. Elvish Reclaimer that they can also still cast this turn. Alright, opponent is back in this game big time. I need a Doomsday or a cantrip to start looking for Doomsday. That's a start. Brainstorm. I found Doomsday and Straight Wraith. I think I just win. Nope, the Thassa's Oracle's in play. That's funny. Okay, I'm going to put back Dark Ritual and Dark Ritual. I have a land drop here. I have Teferi. I'm going to put back Dark Ritual, play Underground Sea plus Teferi. Now I have access to Chump Block with Thassa's Oracle, puts it back in the pool, and then I can instant speed Doomsday. They have one random card here. Now they have nothing. They have to think about if they actually want Thassa's Oracle in the pool or not. Ooh, okay. They could Bajuka Bog off of Reclaimer in response to Doomsday. That's really interesting. Because I'm going at instant speed, it doesn't matter. Okay. Underground Sea, Doomsday. Basically cheating. Literally cheating. This is not how Magic's supposed to work. A powerful sorcery in your end step. They're going to bog me in response. I have to win with Jace. Oh no. Doomsday. Jace has to go in the pile. So I'll draw, I'll have 4 cards, minus Teferi, 3 cards. Street Wraith, yeah, is 2 cards plus Jace. That's all 5, just right there. It doesn't even matter what's in the pile. Okay, Jace, Orm's Chant, Deep Analysis, Edge of Autumn, Edge of Autumn. All right, just count this again. Draw is 4, minus is 3, Wraith is 2. Okay, yeah, that works. I haven't conceded. My opponent should know that that means I'm not dead and that I have a backup win con. Okay, cycle Wraith. I'm at 4. Load a blue. Edge. If you draw a card, you win with your graveyard empty. Plus target player mills 2, then draw a card. Jace Wielder. Target myself. Win. Don't even need the Teferi. They're fetching in response. Okay. The forest they could fetch for didn't save them. On to the next round. The run continues.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 4 versus Fenris Cloud, who is a Infect player who also likes a good control deck. My hand is a little clunky, I think it's safe to say. Turn 2 Teferi, though, is pretty powerful, especially if he is on Infect today. A Mold of 5 helps. Undercity Sewer, or I could just play Doomsday. Alright. Doomsday with Force Backup or Teferi are my options for turn 2. I can also just play Draw-Go here and see if my opponent wants to meet me in the field of battle, debate me in the marketplace of ideas. Tropical Island. Brainstorm, sure. What I'm hoping for this turn is to cast Teferi around Daze, or draw a blue card to back Teferi up, and then have a completely unobstructed Doomsday on turn 4. Run Catacombs fetching. Are we going to see Blighted Agent? Is it time? Oh, main phase Hedge Maze, that's tough. Dumped a Verdant Catacombs, no longer interested in lands. Drew a Ponder. Okay, I'm going to fetch and get Tundra. Then I'm going to fetch and get Underground Sea. Then I'm going to play Lotus Petal. And then I'm going to cast Teferi around Daze and with Force Backup. Alright, just heckin' packed it. Yeah, Infect struggles against the card Teferi at baseline because it's a deck built around pump spells. And the cool thing is, other than the Lotus Petal, I did just kind of tell a story that I'm some Esper midrange deck. I wonder how dialed in on the Lotus Petal he's going to be. He's a strong player though, so probably going to know all about it. I think I want my Plows in and maybe Duress. I'm still going to try to be the combo deck here. I'm not bringing in my Barrowglyphs. Shave an Edge, shave a Wraith. Keep the fast lines. And Teferi makes the fast lines so appealing after board. Do I actually need Duress, or is 4 Swords to Plowshares plus Prismatic Ending plus 4 already Duresses good enough? Am I going to Daze this opponent? I don't know. Daze and Lotus Petal are cards worth considering cutting. I'm going to cut a Lotus Petal. Okay. Found it. Wait, this is 59 cards. What did I do wrong? What I did wrong was cut 4 cards but only bring 3 in. I get to keep one of these? Wow. My cup runneth over. I could bring in the Terminus or the Orim's Chant. Now that I've found 4 cuts, I'm happy to cut. Or I could just bring Lotus Petal back into the deck. Okay, Lotus Petal's back in the deck. Fine, whatever. Well. I'm going to keep this. Infect, if he is playing Infect, is historically a deck that plays a small number of Wastelands, like enough to punch through a Maze of Ith, but it's not a dedicated Wasteland strategy. I would love to find another land or a blue card so I can rip it. Another Dark Ritual would be good too. If I can Ritual, Duress, Doomsday, that's pretty fire. Okay, I'm going to fetch Basic Swamp just in case Wasteland is in the mix here. I'm going to start with a Duress. Let's punch a hole, see what's going on. B-Storm, Sylvan Library, Force of Will. Blighted Agent. I think I'm just going to take Force of Will and then do the damn thing. All right, take Force of Will. Now, blue cards and black lands are both good. Brainstorm, shaking it all up. Right, spending the turn digging means I can spend another turn duressing. But there is another Brainstorm over there, so that might not even solve any of my problems. We found a Glistener Elf. Okay. That's mostly fine. Teferi, Time Raveler. I like that card quite a lot. That is also a blue card for Force of Will. Okay, so if I Dark Ritual Doomsday, put Brainstorm on top of my deck, Edge of Autumn into Brainstorm, 4 cards left, Brainstorm into LED, Deep Analysis, then I have to go Hellbent with 1 blue floating. If Deep Analysis resolves, there would be 2 cards left in my deck. I could cycle, Lotus Petal, Oracle, or I only have 1 cycle left in the deck. There's just 1 Wraith. And if I go for the LED line, I have to discard my Force blue card. Do I think my opponent would fight over Dark Ritual or fight over the pile? Let's find out. Dark Ritual Doomsday. Okay, no fight. So we've got Brainstorm, Thassa's Oracle, Lion's Eye Diamond, Deep Analysis, Lotus Petal. Oh, wait, I need Street Wraith in here somewhere. How does this work? Does this work? Oh no, did I blow it? Okay. If I don't think I need Deep Analysis is how this works. So Deep Analysis, replace that with Street Wraith. There's one of these. This is not a hard pile if you know how to play Doomsday, but I mostly don't, so you get to watch me puzzle through this. So this is Cycle Edge, draw Brainstorm, Brainstorm finds Street Wraith LED, cycle Street Wraith, hold priority, sack LED, draw Thassa's Oracle. That is 4, 3, 2 cards left. Yeah, I mean, I lose to Daze or Force of Will, but this pile is a pile. Okay. This works. Is Lotus Petal the best thing that could be the last card in my deck? If that's true, because Lotus Petal is not part of my pile anymore. But I only play 1 Thassa's Oracle. I can't go again on Doomsday. All right, it's just going to have to work. Okay, pedal to the bottom. Oracle, LED, Wraith, Brainstorm. Float a blue, jump off the pile, Brainstorm. Opponent appears to be F6. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I saw the hand. We saw the Brainstorm. Glistener Elf was not a card we saw. It seemed like it was worth the risk. That's also a spot where I think opponent would have fought over Doomsday if they had it. And I don't want to alarm anyone, but we are 4-0-8-0 going into a potential perfect trophy match. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in the final trophy round. My opponent just said in the chat they're watching my Tony Scapone PO trophy vid right now. Little do they know, I'm a secret combo killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? I'm going to keep my hand. It's a little slow and steady, but I don't dislike what's going on here. Gives me time to find Teferi, who is the MVP of my entire life. Basic Mountain. Hate that. I'm still going to get the Undercity Sewer. I think this is the way I see the most cards in a game. I suppose I have to keep this Swamp now that we've seen Basic Mountain. Brainstorm. Thassa's Oracle, Deep Analysis, Daze. Well, I don't want Thassa's Oracle in my hand. And Deep Analysis is actually fine in my hand. I don't think this game's going to be about Jace either. But I don't need 4 lands. Okay, I'm going to put back Thassa's Oracle and Flooded Strand. And I have Polluted Delta that can be basic island if I need it to be. But I hope it doesn't need to be that because I want to cast a triple black spell at some point in my life. Okay, it's Painter, not Red Prison. Do I care about Agatha's Soul Cauldron? I don't think so. Alright, that's fine. I'm just going to go to my turn and cast Doomsday. Does it benefit me to have the Consider still in my hand when I go for Doomsday? No, because if I hit Lotus Petal right now, that's even better. Alright. Underground Sea, Consider. Another Doomsday. Alright, I'll bin that one. I don't need 2 of those. Opponent should be shitting their pants if I don't want Doomsday. Found Force of Will. Perfect. The Consider paid off. Cast Doomsday and hope that they can't win. Exile my Consider in response. That is a smart thing to exile. That can matter. I have Force and Daze. I don't pass Priority All during the Deep Analysis line, but I lose my Force and my Daze if I take the Deep Analysis line, which I don't really want to do. If this is Painter, they could have a high density of Red Blast. If I take it too slow, I might die to Construct Beats or just a Grindstone for 2. That's embarrassing. I think I'm just going to go Edge, Edge, Wraith, Wraith, Oracle. Yeah, I'll be at 9. Edge, Edge, Wraith, Wraith. Is there a pile with Teferi that does the same thing? If I play Teferi minus it, like I'd need to put plains on top of my deck, like Tundra. I play Teferi with 1 mana left, minus it, draw a Street Wraith. That would not result in the mana I need for Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go speed mode here. Done. Oracle, Wraith, Edge, Wraith, Edge. I'm stacking it like that so a random like Grindstone doesn't get a double hit. Okay, if they play a mountain and they have 2 Red Blasts, I'm actually in some trouble. If they spend like any mana doing anything, I think I'm okay. This could be really dangerous. If they have a Simian Spirit Guide, it becomes very hard to navigate this. I'm actually going to daze this Grindstone because I have a land drop available, like my line still works, and if I could take them off even a single mana, that could make this impossible. Okay. Feel mostly good about that. Underground Sea, Float of Black, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith, Float of Blue, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith, Lightning Bolt. Okay. I'm at 2. The cost is already paid. Force Pitching, Deep Analysis. I'm at 1. Wow, that was a sweet one. Down to the wire in every possible way. Cool. Okay. We're playing against Painter. I could see this being a matchup where the Barrowglyphs are solid, but also just this mono red deck. Why am I not sending it? Yeah, I think I'm going to send it. And Orim's Chant can beat any number of Pyroblasts, but Teferi is a blue card that is weak against Pyroblast. Yeah, I don't think I want to bring in all the extra plows. I think I do mostly just want to be a Doomsday deck. I am interested in the Barrowglyph juke, though, if they go too deep on trying to squeeze my combo or just keep a grip full of red blasts. I like having access to that. I think I'm going to cut the speed line, the LED, deep analysis stuff. I'm kind of all over the place here. I don't have a super consistent idea. I could cut Force of Wills for Duresses because of the red blast. I'm just really scared of going all in and losing to red blast. And for those of you, the armchair quarterbacks at home who always say, why do you bother splitting Pyroblast and Red Blast? How often does that even come up? Look at me with Cabal Therapy in my sideboard against a deck where I care about both Pyroblast and Red Blast. It comes up. It's worth doing. Okay. Do I want more plows? I don't think so. Do I need Jace in the deck? Jace is really bad versus Pyroblast. Like, I would never actually commit to this line. All right. 1 Thassa's Oracle, 3 plows, no Jace. I am free falling here. I will mulligan this hand that doesn't work. This hand is slow, but I'm into it. Keep and bottom the Undercity Sewer. They've got an Ancient Tomb. Painter's Servant. There it is. Okay, I can pitch anything to Force of Will right now, which is pretty exciting. Duress. I think I'd like to take a turn duressing them, now that I have the option. Disruptor Flute, Mox Opal, Red Blast, Untimely Malfunction, destroy target artifact, change the target of a spell or ability, 1 or 2 target creatures can't block. Interesting. All right. I'll take Red Elemental Blast. If this Disruptor Flute names blue to Delta, I'm going to tilt off a cliff, but it probably just names Doomsday. Did name Doomsday. There's the Mox Opal. And, oh, they drew Mountain for turn. I was trying to figure out where the other card went. I found it. Plow has changed the target of a spell or ability with a single target. There are no targets to change Swords to Plowshares 2 right now. There's a Doomsday. I'm going to get Scrubland, so I can have triple black when we get there. Delete this Painter while I still can. I no longer have Force of Will online. All right. The Great Ape Escape has begun. This costs 3 more. All right, I'm still 1 short of Doomsday. Opponent is running out of juice over there, though. If I can find a mana source before my life total becomes like 4. Welders in Ponder. All right. Ponder. I should have done my Undercity Sewer last turn. Teferi could bounce Flute. Flute does have Flash, so it can come back down. Yeah, or Lotus Petal Teferi is actually pretty strong here. I think I'm going to take the Lotus Petal just to guarantee access to Doomsday next turn, but then I'm going to get Undercity Sewer and try to find a blue card to back it up. Fable, hate that a lot. Okay, Fable resolves. That's bad. This is now 5 damage in play. So I fetch to 12. I Doomsday to 6. I'm at 1. That means Street Wraith and Force of Will don't work. Sewer. Plow. I could try to plow to take some pressure off, but that doesn't actually solve any problems. All right, plow to the graveyard. Another Doomsday. Okay. Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual. Doomsday. And I'm going to have to figure this out with no life to spare. Not a single point. That means I want Edge of Autumn. I have an edge in my hand already. Can't Thoughtseize, can't Duress. Brainstorm, or Consider is faster than Brainstorm. Cavern of Souls. Obviously need the Oracle in the pile. I don't think Daze is going to be helpful. If they find Lightning Bolt at any point, it just doesn't matter. What is this Orm's Chant doing? Can I fit this in here somewhere? I am mostly just looking for a card to bin. Because if Edge is on top, cycle Edge into Consider away, whatever the hell. Yeah. Draw for turn, that's 4. Cycle Edge, that's 3. Consider, there's 1 card left in my deck. Oh, right, I'm not going now. Do I just grab like a Prismatic Ending because it doesn't matter? Okay, I'm at 6, I go to 1. We go to my turn. I draw Edge of Autumn for my turn. I cycle Edge of Autumn into Consider. I think I miscounted a minute ago. Draw Edge of Autumn, 4 cards in my deck. Cycle Edge of Autumn, 3 cards in my deck. Consider, bins Prismatic Ending, draws Thassa's Oracle, 1 card in my deck. Cycle other Edge of Autumn, Cavern Oracle. Okay. It's going to have to work. It's going to have to hold. My stack has been made. Pass the turn, hope I'm not dead. Discarded Spirit Guide, Ancient Tomb. I lose to Lightning Bolt here. If they can give anything haste or +1/+1, Agatha's Soul Cauldron does it, Lightning Bolt does it. Didn't attack with Welder. That leaves me a point to Force of Will with, but it didn't matter. Could that have mattered? What if, like, why didn't Welder attack? I could have stacked the Consider on top of the deck, Edge into Consider, Force, pitching Consider. I'm at 1. Yeah, I think I could have built another small layer if they somehow leave me a 1 life of protection in there. That was weird, though. Okay, life total, under attack. I think I still like my sideboard plan, though. The Barragoyfs. They haven't seen those yet. Okay, let's go. I also could have that game forced the flute, but I didn't have a Doomsday at the time where that happened. Maybe I just didn't predict it well enough. Or maybe I'm a big brick and I don't know how to play Magic. Both are possible. Okay, I am going to duress my opponent on 1, and then I have the option of Doomsday or Barragoyf on 2. I have 0 blue mana anywhere in the Lotus Petal, but that is my plan to cast my spell on turn 2. Okay, Grindstone, Lotus Petal, Bolt, Pyrogoyf, or Pyroblast, not Pyrogoyf. That's a very different thing. Barragoyf, there will be sorcery, artifact, whatever I take here, instant. I don't want them double bolting my Goyf. Okay, instant sorcery, artifact is enough that Bolt doesn't kill Goyf. Okay, I'm going to take Lightning Bolt. I am worried about that Grindstone, though. Wait, if they bolt Goyf, that'll put an instant in the graveyard. Yeah, I'm going to take Grindstone. But then they can double bolt Goyf. Damn it! Alright. I just have to live in a world where they have Grindstone in their hand. Ancient Tomb. Lotus Petal. Please cast Simian Spirit Guide. Alright, Grindstone resolves. Please don't cast Painter Servant. Goblin Engineer. Fuck! I'm dead! They just kill me next turn. That was the Spirit Guide pitched. Okay, so real talk now. How do I solve this? There's a Pyroblast in their hand. It costs 3 mana. If they draw any mana source, I just lose, and it doesn't matter. That was such a good draw. Okay. Playing Barragoyf is going to be way too slow. I don't have any graveyard hate in. Could have taken the Grindstone and make them just double bolt my Goyf. Alright, anything that happens from here on out is my fault. I was playing like a combo deck instead of like a control deck, and yeah, I don't know what's actually right or wrong. Okay. I think I have to Doomsday here, but is there even a pile that can beat a Pyroblast from 0 blue starting mana? But I could have 1 blue starting mana. And if they just leave up Grindstone, what does that do to my plan? Completely ruins it. I could just cast Barragoyf and hope they don't have a mana. And they currently don't have a mana. I don't think there is a Doomsday pile that works here, so I am going to fetch Underground Sea and play Barragoyf. Alright, do not put mana into play. Okay, they didn't do anything. This means Brainstorm is now a card I can cast, and that could access something like Swords to Plowshares or Prismatic Ending. I am going to Brainstorm. If they use their Pyroblast on it, that's not very good. Okay, 2 Dark Rituals here. Another blue source. Don't need 2 Dark Rituals, I might want 1. If I put back Ritual and basic island. No, I might need the island. I might need the scrubland too. Put back Ritual Island. Yeah, I think I have to put back Ritual and Island. Then I'm going to attack with Barrowgoyf, and I am going to mill. I do not want those cards on top of my deck. Mill. Missed a bunch of stuff. Scrubland. And pass. And hope they don't come up with any mana again. No mana, no mana, no mana, no mana. No! We've lost. They haven't gone for it yet. I have shown them Swords to Plowshares. I mean, they can't, like, not go for it, though. It's just not a line that exists. Oh, they let me draw. Fascinating. All right, well, I will attack with Barrowgoyf and see if I can maneuver this game to a spot where I can find a Swords to Plowshares. I found a Street Wraith off of Barrowgoyf, the old draw a card strategy. Okay, if I go Dark Ritual Doomsday, what happens? I could put Swords to Plowshares at the top of my Doomsday pile. They might just go for the win in response, and they still have Pyroblast. Okay, I think I have to do this. Dark Ritual, Doomsday. And they can't grind me out in response to that, because then my graveyard would just be my Doomsday pile. Okay. So I need Swords to Plowshares. Thassa's Oracle has to be part of it. Cavern of Souls has to be part of it. And then I guess I want, like, Ponder and Edge of Autumn? Or there's an Edge of Autumn in my graveyard. How do I use that? Because they could also just Grindstone me twice here. So I have to kind of force the issue. I don't have a Lion's Eye Diamond in my deck anymore. If I put Prismatic Ending on top of the deck, they just win, because that works. Yeah, I just don't have a second blue source. That's the problem here. If they just Grindstone. But Barrowgoyf, what is Barrowgoyf doing here? Can Barrowgoyf recoup the Thassa's Oracle that gets Grindstoned away? It can. So I should prioritize a blue source, or, oh my god. This is beyond my ability. It sucks that we know about the Pyroblast too. Or I have Force of Will. I don't care about Pyroblast. Hold on. That changes everything. So I have Pyroblast beat. I don't have the onboard Grindstone beat. I could have the onboard Grindstone beat. I have Brainstorm and Street Wraith available. Is there a way I can trick them into this working? But if I Brainstorm, I lose Pyroblast. Yeah, I think I messed up and I'm not supposed to cast the Doomsday. I didn't consider until it was too late that Grindstone can just be activated twice here. But that might... Nope, I don't have double blue. Damn it. That's the problem. Okay, Cavern, Oracle. What if I Brainstorm into... I've already used a Lotus Petal, but that's not a problem. Okay, hold on. What if I Brainstorm into 2 Lotus Petals? Lotus Petal, Thassa's Oracle. Lotus Petal. Brainstorm into Petal, Oracle. Wraith into any blue card is a potential line. This loses to Painter Servant. Edge, Ponder. All right, what happens if I make this pile? I cast Brainstorm, they Pyroblast and mill me twice and I lose? I have to hope that they just mess up though, right? Or I could Street Wraith first. Can that possibly trick them into doing anything wrong? No, because they have the 3 plus the 1. Oh, this sucks. All right. I'm going to play like they're going to fuck up because I can't beat it if they play correctly. All right. Edge of Autumn to the bottom. Oracle, Petal, Ponder, and Cycle Street Wraith. If they just reanimate in response, they didn't do that. Okay, Brainstorm. I lose if I cast Brainstorm. Literally lose. Okay, I'm going to pass the turn. What a disaster. That was not how you're supposed to play Magic. Okay, so this is going to mill 2 Lotus Petals. If I Brainstorm in response, then there will be only 3 cards left in my deck, then 1, then I lose. All right, I have fucked it. A disappointing end. This game was mostly made possible by them ripping Goblin Engineer, but if I have Duress the Grindstone and just let Double Bolt be a 2-for-1, I think that's a better line for me anyway. Just like dancing around the Pyroblast is too much. GG's though, that was a mind buster. 4-1 record, falling apart, probably my own fault at the very end. This deck is sweet. I mean, Teferi is a cheat code for any combo deck, especially Doomsday, a combo deck that deterministic. I've seen Teferi in like Omni Show decks or Cephalid Breakfast. And Breakfast still has to think about like Fairy Macabre or whatever, and Show and Tell sometimes can hit its own fail rate. Doomsday, it's over. Teferi, and a lot of the times in a Doomsday pile, you just need one card to jump it off, and Teferi even provides that card for you. This deck feels sweet. It feels pretty well constructed. I have almost no idea what I'm doing, and I lost a trophy game at the very end to a combination of a maybe wrong decision into the immediate punish for the possibility of that wrong decision. This was fun, though. Jam1 Garner, thanks for sharing it. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.